All right, so let's get this started. Welcome again to the webinar, and thanks for joining today. As announced in our agenda, today we're going to talk about the new features and the new functionalities that we have included in the optimizer. But that's not more in a sales perspective, but more in the beneficial perspective, because by the end of the day, you wouldn't care less about the feature that we release unless it's going to be useful for you. So, what we're going to do today that we're going to dive into what's new on the optimizer and walk you through the benefits of having that new functionality, which, by the way, is also added based on your request. Then we will go into the insightful reports and how our reporting system has changed recently, and what it does when it comes to pinpointing winning campaigns and understanding or catching negative trends. So we will talk about that as well. We will go over mass campaign launching, which nowadays, especially for uh, arbitrage, which still stands to be a hot activity, and then other smaller campaigns is the case when you need to launch hundreds, if not thousands, of campaigns in order to scale and test fast. We will talk about our brand new rules, stuff that is absolutely killer for managing your campaigns automatically. And it's nothing compared to what we had as automation. It's something totally new, and how and what you can get out of it is something that many people, or us included, wanted to have years ago. And by the end of the day, it becomes like it will end up having automatic rules that optimize just like we do. Like, we look into different ranges, and we look into different perspectives before making a decision. Then we will go over a few automatic rule examples that have been proven and has been tested with our users and from ourselves, that work and are able to deliver results, so you can easily copy them and test them on your campaigns. And like never before, what I want to do today is even set up some rules live. So if you have questions, or if you have situations where you would like to actually set up a rule, feel free to write it in the comments. Make sure to give me all the details that you would need for the rule, or the whole logic that you would like to go through the rule, and then I would do my best to create the rule live. This way, not only you, but also other attendees and other people who are gonna watch the replay are gonna follow the logic on how to set up a rule. And last but not least, we will have the questions and answers, and a few news, that a few interesting updates that are coming next weeks and next month. So before further ado, let's start with new features. So what has been new on the optimizer is Google Sheets integration, which practically allows you to bring data from any any revenue source that you have. It can be maybe an e-commerce store. It can be a private tracking solution, like something built in house. It can be something that you get manually from your partners. Like, there are often cases where people are getting revenue information and conversions information on a daily basis with their campaign information. They just need to update and fill them in manually or automatically, but still to a really non-programmatic extent, like really hard to be managed unless someone else sends you the data. So it doesn't belong to a specific API endpoint. There you can upload data like clicks, revenue, conversions, and you will be able to post all the data on the campaign level, publisher or site level. If we're talking about native, you're going to be able to put the data on the ad group or ad set level, as well as content or ad level. Now, for those of you who have a developer in the team, or are able to develop an API, we are able to provide you with an API endpoint which will allow you to post data our way. So instead of you uploading a Google Sheet or a CSV file, you will be able to have an API endpoint. In order to get access to it, feel free to drop us a message. either on Skype, Slack, email, wherever it works for you, or even support, and we will get back to you with the details of the API endpoints on how you can bring the data on the optimizer from any platform that you want, not just our standard supported trackers. Then we have a creative library. This is one of the newest features. We might have talked about it before, but we haven't ever talked about the ways that you can use it. And uh, it's okay that you can upload images, you can upload the headlines there, and you can generate ads. But you also can look at the ad performance individually. You can look at the image performance individually. So the ad itself with all its elements like image and headline, but you can also look at the image individually, like how catchy the image looks, and the headline itself, how powerful the headline is. So you can get into the to the very details of each element of your ad, analyze them, and tag them or reuse them according to your needs. Also, when you click on one of each of the ads that you have in the ads library, in the creative library, you will be able to see how many campaigns is this ad being used on. You will be able to see the total spend, CTR, and EPC. So all the key metrics that you are looking at a specific ad, you will be able to look at it from the creative library without having to go into each campaign individually. So that thing is a killer feature. And plus, when you're working with a mass campaign creator that we will talk in a bit, you will be able to catch these to use these ads easily just by leveraging tags. And I will show you on a live example how it works. Next, we have Google Analytics 4, and okay, this has been out for a while, but recently, like if I'm not mistaken, like like a week ago or something, Google sent another email that reconfirmed that the old Universal Analytics is setting down. So with the new Google Analytics, like GA4, instead of just having the standard data or the standard dimensions that you have with you used to have with Google Analytics, we are able to pull custom dimensions as well. So if whatever UTM parameters, the standard ones, are not enough for you, you're able to add another UTM parameter, and that UTM parameter is importable. So we can import that as data, and you can utilize that to optimize your campaign. So that's a huge improvement, especially for those who have lots of dimensions in their tracking and want to look into very details of how their campaigns are working. Then we have the performance reporting. So in the performance reporting, what we used to have was that you could get a site performance breakdown, you could get a creative breakdown and a campaign breakdown, and that was through the reporting interface. Now, what we can do is that we can drill down on the performance by traffic source or specific date ranges. We can drill down on the performance by ad account, and we can agree, I guess, all together that sometimes one ad account performs better than another depending on some specific traffic sources. And by the end of the day, even if you have organized the ad accounts by verticals or by countries or whatever makes sense for you, you will be able to see it with just one click which vertical or which country or which ad account is performing better and another, so you can easily focus your efforts into it, or you can easily focus your scaling efforts there. Or on the other side, you can work more on a slightly profitable account versus less on a more profitable account. Then you can break down on the performance by creative, and that will give you, just like you see on this on the screenshot on the side, you can look at the creative report. And other than that, you can look at the multi-campaign aggregated reports, which are handy, especially when you're working with native, are really handy when it comes to analyzing specific publisher side data, or analyzing specific creative data, even for Facebook and TikTok. Like if you look into the patterns of usage, yes, you can leverage that even for social networks or Google itself. Then we have Google display placement blocking. This has been like a nightmare for most of us that have played with Google before discovery campaigns were even a thing on Google. And practically what used to happen was that you launch a campaign, most of your budget is being spent by some spammy placements that are just giving you unreal CTR, like 50% CTR, 30% CTR on the ad level, which is nothing realistic when we look at what the real numbers are. So initially these placements used to waste most of our budget, so it was pretty hard for us to optimize our campaigns in a really short amount of time. And when it comes to relying on Google's rules, that's sort of like a best effort thing. Like when we were testing our rules for Google placement blocking, we had some parallel rules on Google side to see what the difference would be. And honestly, like having a rule fire or execute once a day, or when it happens to execute, versus having it execute every couple of hours or every hour or every few minutes, is a huge advantage. And when it comes to budget saving and performance focused campaigns, which is what most of you guys do and most of our users do, is is important. Like if you run a rule every 20 minutes or every 30 minutes, is obviously something much better than having it run once a day, and you can repurpose that wasted budget in another campaign, or when it comes to scaling the campaign. Something really cool is in the rules updates, and we're going to talk about this into more detail when it comes to automatic rules, is using different date ranges in the conditions of a rule, which means that you can look into different intervals of a specific metric without, just like you would do when you optimize campaigns manually. So practically, let's consider an example. So you go into a campaign on Taboola or on Facebook or on TikTok, and the first thing that you do when you look at yesterday's performance or last 30 days performance or last 7 days performance is, okay, we see a campaign which is struggling or an ad set which is struggling, and we want to make it better, right? Or it's close to a really negative ROI, which is pretty hard to recover. So in that situation, what we want to do is that we want to look what was the situation of this specific element of our campaign, let's say on the previous week, or 2 days ago, or 3 days ago, or something like that. So when we optimize our campaigns manually, we use into different time frames or into different intervals to understand better if our campaign or our campaign element was doing better before or worse before, and now it is in a specific threshold. So when we do this with our own eyes, obviously it makes sense, or it is easy for us to look at things like this. But when it comes to automatic rules, you need to make them smarter, and this is what this update makes on the rules. So when you want to analyze a specific performance, or you want to catch a specific trend, like let's say a publisher has been running profitably for the last couple of weeks on your campaigns, and in the last 3 days the publisher stinks, like it is just wasting money, and it's running constantly at a negative 30%, negative 50% ROI. And by the way, that publisher, in the case of a native campaign, might be one of your top spending publishers. So instead of you keeping the publisher on, you can either drop the bid on the publisher when these performance changes happen, or when these patterns show, or you can block the publisher totally. And if you want to retest it in a few days, or after you have uploaded some new creatives, then you can create another rule that says, okay, if the publisher um, hasn't spent in the last couple of days, but 2 weeks ago it was profitable, reopen it and let it run for 2 days. So you can even add some logical conditions, or you can apply some advanced logic into your automatic rules without losing control of your campaigns. And that's pretty awesome, because so far none of the automation tools that are out there are able to go into this very detail. So we will talk more about this in the real examples of our automatic rules. Another one is campaign start and campaign end date. So when we launch campaigns, the start dates is really important. And let's say that we're launching 100 campaigns a day, because we're talking today about a mass launcher as well. So we want to launch hundreds of campaigns a day, and we want to kill again hundreds of campaigns a day, because chances for us to get all our campaigns profitable from 100 campaigns out of 100 campaigns is really, really rare. So it's not realistic at all. So we want to have a rule that looks at the campaign start date, right? Or we want to look at the rule that looks at the days since the campaign has started, or until the campaign ends. So this is pretty important details which are directly connected with our day-to-day activity, or our day-to-day optimization process. So let's say that we're launching 100 campaigns a day. What I want to do is that I want to see after 4 days or after 3 days, depending on the traffic source, or after a week, if these campaigns are close to becoming profitable or not. If these campaigns are not close to becoming profitable, I want to kill these campaigns, because by the end of the day, I'm launching 100 campaigns the next day, or and the next day, and so on and so forth, from the day that I launched this campaign. So instead of me launching campaigns and praying for them to become profitable and losing track of what these campaigns are doing, I can set exact and sharp rules which have no emotions, and look at my specific instructions that say, if the campaign has been running for 5 days and it's still on day 5, using the other conditions that I mentioned in the previous slide, it is still not profitable, I'm going to kill the campaign no matter what, even if I've put 2 weeks of work on that campaign. Why? Because it's not becoming profitable for me. Or it could be the case when we have campaigns with a fixed budget, or let's say fixed lifetime budget. So when we're doing fixed lifetime budget, and I don't remember off the top of my head what type of campaigns on Google on Facebook is the one that you need to specify a fixed lifetime budget for the campaign. But let's say that we have that situation, and what we want to do is that if the campaign is profitable 2 days before the campaign um, lifetime budget is consumed, uh, we want to increase the budget, let's say by 20%, by 10%, or by a fixed dollar amount. So we can always extend these campaigns lifetime by adding more budget to these campaigns, or by adding more lifespan to this campaign. So these rules will help you do exactly that. And then we will go into mass campaign launcher, which I mentioned a bit earlier. Now we support an Excel or CSV or a spreadsheet launcher, which will allow you to create hundreds, if not thousands, of campaigns. And the cool thing about this is that you can create um, not only hundreds or thousands of campaigns, but you can even use tags that are inside of the creative library that we have on our platform. So let's say your creative team uploads creatives constantly. So every new project or every new campaign that you launch, you create a set of creatives for that, right? It can be a different, a specific vertical, a specific geo, a specific language. So you have a set of creatives for a specific campaign. And what your creative team will do will just upload those creatives with a specific tag that belongs to that specific campaign. Then instead of you picking up 5 different ads, 5 different headlines, and 5 different whatever elements your ads have, you simply copy the tag of the campaign, you put it in the spreadsheet where you define the campaign creation, and when you upload the campaign will have the ads that belong or that are part of that specific tag. So this is really awesome, and at the best, you can apply the rules or rule groups on your campaigns. So when you launch 100 of campaigns, those campaigns are not going to fly blindly, but they will have an automatic rule that will monitor them. And that's by the end of the day, you have one rule that blocks or kills non-performing campaigns, one rule that scales good promising campaigns, like good performance, and that's totally automated, so you don't need to go back and forth and check between platforms. You have everything automated. You just need to care about launching campaigns and finding new verticals or new winners to launch. Then we have something which is coming next week, is the compare date ranges. So what you will be able to do is, let's say that you analyze your campaigns data based off the last 3 days or based off the last 7 days. In the date picker, you will have the option to enable the compare dates, And in the column settings, you will be able to define which columns you care about looking mostly. So if it is ROI, you will have ROI checked in the compare date ranges. And if it is the ad spend, or if it's both or another metric, like more metrics that you want to see the changes that happen from, let's say, the last 3 days current and the previous last 3 days, then you can have it. So for each metric, you can easily look, and you will see the change, just like it is noted here. You will see the change of your performance. So if it is going worse in terms of ad spend, you're spending less, you will see a negative value marked in red. And if it's spending more, or if the ROI is better, you will see a positive value marked in green. So these options are really handy and really helpful when it comes to analyzing the campaign of your data, and more importantly, catching trends. So you catch a trend, then with your rules, just like we have always mentioned it before, like many times, when we analyze the data for campaign, we simply go to these specific metrics of our campaign. We narrow down by putting multiple filters, and then we catch the specific trend. Now it goes one step further, and you can easily define different intervals or date ranges for that. Now, let's move into a behind the shoulder demonstration of the reports and other features, because honestly, I wasn't in the mood of making slides, and you won't get the full understanding, or an easy understanding of how these reports work. So let's say that we're moving to the optimizer now, and one thing that we want to look at is the reporting. So the reporting now will move into a different into a different way. So the first thing that we want to look at is, okay, performance breakdown by traffic source. Or if you have multiple buyers, some buyers are taking care of Outbrains, some of Taboola, some of Facebook, some of TikTok, etc. So you can easily look at each specific traffic source, what the actual performance is. Obviously, we don't have enough data here to show you, but you get you get the point. Let me try to do the last 6 months. I'm not sure if we're going to have some data. Yeah, we have some here. So these are dummy data anyway, so data from our tests, but you see what I mean. So you can easily tell which traffic source has a net profit of negative $7,000, or which traffic source has a net profit of negative $44. Or you can even do it by ROI. You can again customize the columns here, and you can customize these reports to your needs, and you can break it down by day, by month, and by year, so you can easily go through these breakdowns. Next, you can go into the ad account reporting. So if I'm having 200 ad accounts, or 50 ad accounts, or 10 ad accounts, for what it's worth, on each specific traffic source, I would like to see each ad account performance breakdown individually, because those ad accounts might belong to different media buyers. And let's say that you want to run those end of the month reports to tell them what the net profit and what the revenue that they generated was for the previous month. You can easily go on Facebook's let's say ad accounts, click on apply, and you will get the performance breakdown for all Facebook ad accounts on last month. And you can easily tell that, hey, um, this ad account belongs to media buyer A, and he has made, let's say, 10% ROI. This other ad account belongs to media buyer B, and he has made negative 5% ROI. So he was in loss. So these are pretty handy when it comes to analyzing the data, and understanding quickly what your results are, and at what point of your progress you are. And you can easily drill down into each specific traffic source. Then you can move into campaigns. So you can do, let's say, a specific traffic source, and here we have to divide traffic sources specifically, because some metrics are available on some, and some are not on some others. So you can easily say, okay, I have all these ad accounts, and I want to have campaigns from all ad accounts reported, or I want to have campaigns from specific ad accounts, and I want to see what is happening on this. Now, I don't know if we're gonna have any ad accounts, any campaigns here, but let's give it a go. All right, we had no spend here. So this is just to show you how the campaign report works. And here, when we're moving on the ad level report, we're adding another filter, so we can filter also by campaigns. And here you can tell I want these campaigns here. You can pick them individually. You can say all active, all campaigns, all active, all disabled campaigns. You can clear the filters, or you can say, okay, anything that has a shaver in it. Like I saw something with a shaver. So here we're doing the shaver campaigns, or we can clear them all. And when I'm doing this report, most likely I'm not going to get any data from this, but I will be able to see all the ads that are present in the campaigns. Video ads are coming soon, so this is something our team is working on. And then we also have the reports that we used to have traditionally, which has been improved a lot in terms of performance. So you can break down by traffic source and the report type. Let's say if we're working with native traffic accounts, we will see publisher, section, campaign, and ad level report. If we're working with Facebook or TikTok, we will see ad set, campaign, and ad level reports. And here again, we can filter by ad accounts, or we can filter by campaigns. If the reports are really big and it's taking a while to be reported, when you're looking into a bigger date frame, time frame, those reports will be queued, and you will be able to download the reports in a CSV. So this is what when it comes to reporting and the features that I mentioned that are coming up next week. Now let's move into the mass campaign launcher, because this is going to be a good one. So let me see. Boom, there we have. So let's say that we're creating campaigns on Taboola, right? So what I want to do here now, I have one example where I have created how many? Like, let me see, the count here is it is 209 campaigns, and this is with campaign example name 1. Now this is not realistic, right? Because we don't want to have a campaign that has 209 ads in it. So let me remove these other ones quickly, and there we go. So let's say that we're adding a new campaign, right? So the new campaign, what we want to add when we want to add the new campaign is, okay, we go to the traffic sources because we want to see to which account we want to add the campaign. So let's say we're going to use this ad account. I'm going to copy the value, come here, paste it. We can leave an empty row here. It doesn't hurt the campaign creator. And I'm going to say, okay, investing one, or let's say food message 1. The campaign is going to be online purchases. I'm going to have the brand here, so it's going to be Food Wizard, whatever. The start date needs to be in a month, year, month, and day format. So let me copy this and paste it here for ease of use. And I'm going to do the start date. I want it to start tomorrow. And I want to put an end date. Here I'm going to put the campaign active status, if available from traffic source, if yes or no. So I want the campaign to be active. If I'm going to schedule a campaign on specific days, so let's say I want to run the campaign from Monday to Friday, I need to specify the days. So let me get the string here. So I want to have this campaign running from Monday to Friday, and so the campaign is running for 5 days. So I need to specify the start date if I want to schedule them. And I'm going to say it's going to start at 9 a.m. So I'm going to put 5 times 9 here. And the campaign is going to run till 8 p.m. Let's say the call center that does the sales salvage and stuff like that works until 8 p.m. So I'm going to do 20, 20, 20, 20, and 20. Now here I can specify the time zone. If it's going to be, let's say, US Mountain Time Zone, I'm going to do a country targeting, and I'm going to say it's going to be United States. If you want to add more countries here, you can easily do comma separated values. So I'm going to do Canada as well. Okay. This is my local file. I've made some changes. You won't have this error on yours. If you want to include some regions, you can go to the regions tab, and you can get the regions from a specific country. So If we're doing Canada and you want to include all these regions besides Quebec, you can do it, or you can go to the campaigns and you can paste the list here. Now you want to do platform targeting. If you want to do desktop only, and I'm going to do desk here. If you want to do, and here when you hover, you have all the values that you want to use. Sorry. So when you look here, phone, desk, and tablet. If you want all operating system, as I want to do all, and I will skip operating system and browsers. If you want to do browser targeting, you can even do this and refer to the browsers and browser list in the other sheets. Connection type, and let's say that I want to block these publishers, right? So I want to block Zogu, whatever this thing is, and push int whatever investing whatever I'm just coming up with publishers. So here you can paste the comma separated value. If you want to apply any brand safety like IAS or DV or none, you can fill them in, but this is not required. Only green marked headers are required values. And here you can change the bidding strategy. So if I want to do the target maximize conversions, I can do maximize conversions. And here we're talking about a Taboola campaign. If I want to do target CPA, smart bid, or fixed bid. So let's say I'm going with smart bid on this. I'm going to put a cost per click of, let's say, 25 cents for my campaign, but we're doing a desktop. So let's do it 45. And I want to put a strict, I want to put no spending limit on the campaign. This is important. And the spending, the ad delivery model is going to be strict. So, sorry, this is going to be, the ad delivery is going to be balanced. And I'm going to put the daily limit, the spending limit, I'm going to put it to $100. So I'm spending $100. This needs to be strict. And the traffic allocation mode between creatives needs to be optimized in my case. Or if I want to do even, I want to do A/B testing on the creative level. This is going to be even. So in this, here I can specify the end date of my testing. And in the tracking code, I can paste all the tracking code or the tracking string that I need. And let's say this is a food device. Please approve it. If you want to add a comment, and here we can put the target URL. So here I'm just going to put https theoptimizer.io/food device, and this this URL doesn't exist, but this is just for testing purposes. Let's do lenderlab.io. I don't know what I have messed with the conditional formatting, but you get the point. Now here I can paste the image from the ad library, from the content library, or I can paste it from the web. So if I'm going to Google, I'm going food message device, and I want to use I don't know, this image. I'm going to copy the URL. I'm going to go here and I'm just going to paste it, right? Here I can put the headline, so best food message on planet Earth, whatever. And I can define the call to action if I want buy now, book now, or anything like that. And I can define also the description. So let me fill this quickly. The next is media manager ads. So if I'm defining this here, I'm not going to define anything here. And if I want to add the rules, I will just go to the rules page and I will copy this rule here and I will paste it like this. And I will add another rule and I will just add rule names using comma separated values. And I'm going to add this other rule. Let me go. Boom. Let's do this. And here is how I'm adding rules. Or if I want to add rule groups, I'm just going to do add a rule group. So let me see here. Okay, CSV rules. This is the rule group that I'm going to add on top of the other one. Oops. All right, there we have it. So now we have one campaign with one creative and all the other settings and the rules. What we want to do next is that we want to add another creative to this campaign, and we will change just the image. So we will simply go to the image link, right? And I'm going to copy another link here, copy image address, and I'm going to paste it here. So it's going to be the same headline. Or I'm going to copy another one, and I'm going to get the other image here. So next one is going to be this other image here. So practically, we will add one line per campaign, and the unique identifier will be the campaign name. Now, we want to create another campaign with the same settings, and it is going to be foot message 2. It's still the same thing, but this time we're going to go to the creative library, and we're going to filter by tags. So in this case, I will just go and filter by campaign 123 as a tag, right? And this will give me the ads that belong to this tag. So I'm just going to copy the tag, campaign 123, and I'm going to go here and put this. So I will delete these ones, and I will just say campaign underscore 123. What will happen is that when I create the campaign, this campaign 123 will pull all these ads that belong to this tag, and this is my campaign creation. So to create a campaign with a bulk uploader, you simply go here, upload Excel file, and you move to the next step, or you can simply drag and drop it here. Enough from this. Let's go to the new rules, because those are uh, sort of more important in my opinion, because they kind of give you all you need to push your campaigns to the next level. So when you create the new rules, keep present that you need to be on the pro plan or above, because these functionalities are a bit heavy from our end. But you know, you have to do what you have to do when it comes to campaign optimization. You don't care much about how much it is uh, waiting on processing costs. You want to get the results. So your VA or whoever media buyer won't be available 24/7. So let's say that we're blocking publishers, right? So here we're going to do look at the last 14 days, and we're going to look at the spend of the campaign. So if we're doing the spend of the publisher here, we're going to say it has spent, let's say, 3 times the average payout of the campaign. Now we want to look at the ROI on the tracker side, but not of today. We're going to look at the ROI of the last 7 days. So we're looking at between day 13 and day 7. If the ROI, what I mentioned earlier, was greater than 10%, but again, instead of just doing this condition from scratch, we click on the clone here, and we're doing if the ROI from day 0 to day 6, which means the last 7 days, is less than negative 10%, then we're going to block the publisher. Or we're going to add another condition, and we say the ROI over the last 3 days has been a total mess, and it has been worse than negative 40%. Here we drop the ROI, and here we can we can include or exclude publishers. We can apply the campaigns like we do, and set the execution frequency. Or another condition that you can do is start date of the campaign. So the campaign has been has started, let's say, 3 days ago. So days since started is 3 days, or days since started is less than 3 days, or 5 days, whatever the value is. This is what you need to use when it comes to making decisions before X days of running the campaign, or after X days of running the campaign. Or if we want to do, let's say, a campaign budget change. So budget change, we want to do days ending, days until end. We want to do a greater than or less than 2 days or less than 3 days before the campaign ends, we want to set the budget to a whole new level or to a different value. And you can set it to, I don't know, 500, or you can increase it by 500 or 50 or $200, whatever the case is. So these things here are fairly easy to use and fairly intuitive. Also, you can do a start date or created date. So there are some specific traffic sources that have the created date and the run date or start date, which are two different things. Some others don't have them. So you can use them depending on the traffic source. When you do have the creation date, it doesn't in your options with traffic source, it means that you can easily handle the creation date versus the start date, and you can tell, okay, the campaign was created 5 days ago, but it was not running until the next 24 hours. So in this case, you're going to give it, let's say, one more day for decision making, or you just use the start date, or you can say end date or something else. So these conditions can be used in conjunction or in combination with other conditions in your rules, and you end up getting uh, pretty decent rules that follow your results. Now, I need your help now because as I mentioned earlier, I want to have rule creation live. So please comment in the YouTube video, what are the conditions that you want to set up in a rule while we go over some rule examples. Uh, I don't want to put much pressure on anyone, so even if it is something uh, that everyone else knows how to do it, feel free to add it. No worries. What I want to focus is the logic of how you create the rules, or the logic of setting up the rule, which most of the cases becomes a bit messy with new users or people who haven't used a rule-based system before. So feel free to add something. It can be about Facebook, it can be about TikTok, or native traffic sources, or even Google. So if you have something in mind, add that in the comments, and we will go over it together. Uh, Something else that are we're going to talk about today are proven rule examples. So these ones have been tested, and these are mainly with Facebook, since that traffic source seems to have gained a lot of attention over the past few months, and native is also gaining more attraction again, like it not compared to what it was before, but we have some decent better results here. So what the rule on the left does is that it controls the test. So what we're doing with the rule on the left is that we're looking at the days since the campaign started to be at least 4 days. So if we're waiting 4 days or 5 days before making any decisions with Facebook, then we want to look at we want to set that as a condition. And what we're going to look at is Facebook conversions if those are less than 40. Why they are less than 40? Because we know that Facebook is looking for 50 conversions a week, and depending on the type of campaign that you're running, or let's say these are search arbitrage campaigns, as an example, we would get those 40 conversions easily in a day or in a couple of days, depending on the budget. But if you don't have those minimum conversions from your campaigns, then it is hard for your campaign to become profitable. And again, we're looking at the ROI of the campaign. So we're looking at the ROI for yesterday, and if the ROI for yesterday is worse than negative 30%, and again, on another condition, we're looking at the ROI between 4 to 2 days ago. So we're moving back from yesterday, we're moving back at a different period. And if in that different period, the ROI was again worse than negative 30%, we have scheduled the rule to run next day, or when the revenue gets confirmed, in combination with the execution frequency of every 1 hour, and the rule will stop the campaign. So any new campaign that I'm launching, if it's not profitable, or if it's not better than negative 30% after 4 days, and doesn't have minimum 40 conversions, I'm going to block the campaign. Now, please follow the logic, not the exact thresholds that we have put in the rule conditions here, because that's fairly important. The rule on the right, on the other side, is monitoring campaigns that are degrading in performance. So what we're doing here is that we're looking at the ROI for yesterday. If it was worse than negative 10%, but if we go down on the rule conditions, we have selected a specific hour of the day there. What we're doing here is that we're looking after the revenue has been confirmed, or the revenue data has been confirmed. So we are safe to say that the previous day was at negative 10% ROI. And here again, we're looking at the days before, between days 4 and days 2. So if it was greater than 10%, it means that yesterday we had a decrease in performance. And again, we're looking uh, at the tracker CPA. So if the tracker CPA for today and yesterday was greater than 150%, so it was 1.5 times, more than 1.5 times greater than the CPA that was 6 to 2 days ago, which we have an increase in CPA, so we'd rather block or pause this campaign. So this type of rule allows you to control or to look even in a single line at two different time frames of your decision-making KPI in order to trigger an action. So if the conditions are true, you will trigger an action, and that action is going to affect the ongoing of your campaigns. Next, we have a rule that will clone winning ad sets. So the winning ad sets are going to clone 2 times. So whenever we're approaching Facebook or TikTok, we're likely approaching different audiences per ad set, so or ad group. So in this case, what we're doing is we're looking at the performance of an ad set or ad group between day 6 and day 2 if it was greater than 15%. But we make sure that we are cloning a winning campaign. We're also looking at between day 2 and day 1, right? So we're looking last, let's say 4 days, then we're looking last 2 days. So we're comparing a bigger date time frame to a smaller time frame to make sure that our campaigns or our ad set are profitable, right? And if those ad sets are profitable, we're going to clone them 2 times. So the number of copies here are going to be 2. And another rule is going to take care of blocking those ad sets if after a certain amount of spend, those ad sets are not profitable. On the rule on the right, on the other hand, we have a scaling winning ad set rule. What it does is that it also looks at the Facebook conversion. So in the last 7 days, excluding today, it will look for 50 conversions. So if we have those 50 conversions, we are safe to say that Facebook is getting the data that they want. And next, we're looking at the ROI. So if the ROI in the previous time frame, days between day 6 and day 3 was greater than 20%, and again the ROI between day 2 and day 1 is greater than 20%, we are sure that the campaign is performing well. So in this case, we're increasing the budget by 40%. If you're looking at the budget settings, when we're doing this budget change, we're doing that based off the time zone of our ad account, and we're running. Sorry, the rule was really long. We're running this in combination with the execution frequency of every 1 hour, which means that at the very moment 1 a.m. for Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday kicks in, the budget is going to be increased by 40%. Why we're doing that 1 day on, 1 day yes, and 1 day not, is because uh, we want to allow time to the traffic source to adapt to this budget change. So when we bump the budget, the performance might fluctuate. You can have a version of this rule running budget changes or budget increases twice a week, and that's fine as well. So if you're launching 100 campaigns, or let's say if you're launching 30 campaigns a day, right? So 30 campaigns a day, you block out of those 30 campaigns, 25, you're left with 5 campaigns a day. So you're adding every day on average 5 campaigns. The winners are going to get scaled automatically. The losers, after a certain amount of time, are going to be killed automatically. So you have one rule that kills winners, one rule that scales, one rule that scales winners, one rule that kills losers, and another rule that kills campaigns that are degrading. Now, that could be a case where you want to have a campaign that or a rule that drops the budget when the performance decreases, because it can be so many variables there that it's not just the traffic source issue, it is something else. So in that case, you can have another rule, and while I'm talking about it, here's an example of a rule that we can set up together. So once we go over these rule examples, I'll start with that. So the next rule is going to be an email only rule. So what the email only rule will do is that it will send us an email notification if one of our campaigns is running constantly at a loss. So what we're doing here is that we can check or not about the conversions, but I've added that optionally there. And we're checking what was the performance between day 4 and day 3. If it was negative, then 10%. If it was again negative between day 3 and day 2, and if it was negative again between day 2 and day 1. So the campaign has been running on a negative, worse than negative 10% ROI for more than 3 or 4 days. In that case, we will get an email, and that is this belongs to those situations where you have campaigns that are a bit tricky, or that require that extra care to maintain profitability. Then you have another rule, and don't rely on the rule name. Uh, this is just a mistake from my end when I changed the rule. So what the rule is doing is that this rule is blocking publishers that have a decrease in performance. Yes. Yeah, so this is blocking publishers that have a decrease in performance. So the amount of spend that the rule is looking for is 10 times the payout. So if over the last 7 days the rule has spent 10 times the average payout of the campaign, it means that it has spent in a healthy way. Then if the ROI between day 13 and day 4 was greater than 5%, and again, we're looking day 3 to day 1, the spend is 5 times the payout, and in the last 3 days the value there should be negative. So please, it is a negative value here. When I remade the rules, I made the mistake of not putting the minus in front of it. So if the ROI is worse than negative 25%, this practically is catching up the rule. So let's recreate this rule together before we get any messy situation. So practically what the rule will do, we're looking at let's do this. So we're blocking publishers, so block degrading pubs native campaigns, and we're looking at the last 14 days by default, right? And here we're going to do if the spend of the publisher over the last 13 days up to day 7 has been greater than 10 times of the campaign payout, so it means 1,000%, and the ROI, ROI, tracker ROI on the previous week. So we're doing until day 7. On the previous week was greater than 5%. Again, then we have the amount of spend day 6 to day 5. We have 500% of the payout spend, and the ROI in the last 3 days has been worse than negative 25%. We want to block the publisher. So we're not letting the publisher continue to waste money on our campaign. So it can be our top publisher. So keep present on those situations where your top publisher goes from positive 30% to negative 25, 50%, and your campaign is done. Like you have no more chances on that campaign. So you'd rather block the publisher and see what's happening with the other publishers, or you keep going with that publisher, but you have no guarantee unless you refresh your creatives there. So this is one example. And the other example we were going to look at was, dropping the budget of the campaign. So what we're going to do is, let's say that we have a campaign that has been running for a while, right? And it has some performance fluctuations. In this situation, we want to take care of those drops, but not in a way that we're just going to kill the campaign, but we're just going to reset the budget of the campaign. And in that situation, it can be also the ad set. Let's do an ad set budget reset. So we have an ad set that is running on a good performance, right? So the ROI, we start with the ROI. on the previous time frame, so let's do day 14 till day 7, the campaign was running good. So the ad set was having a 20% healthy ROI, right? Or let's do it 60 because it is realistic. So we're looking at the last 14 days. And we have conversions. We have conversions on the tracker. We have on day 13 until day 7, we have more than 60 conversions or 100 for what it's worth. So let's do day 14 and day 7. Now, what we want to do is that we want to look at the ROI of the last 5 days till 5 days. Come on, 5 days till 0, 5. When you want to do things fast, you never do it. So until day 1. So we want to look at the ROI and see if the ROI is worse than or less than negative 10%, right? In this case, instead of pausing the campaign, we want to set the budget to a default starting budget of your ad set. So let's say if your ad set starts at $50 a day, then you want to reset the budget. And one of the common cases that comes to my mind is search arbitrage campaigns uh, when you have a keyword saturation, when you have to swap keywords. So the domain might be okay, the campaign itself might be okay, it's still a trending vertical in that region, and etc. But you have to swap the keywords. Or it could be the case of uh, of a lead generation campaign where you have a good landing page, you have a good funnel, the offer is converting well, but the landing page got saturated. So in that situation, until you work on a different angle, or until you find the next best angle that combines and that works best with your audience, you want to reset the budget without stopping the campaign, because it can affect the learnings. Or you can stop it for 1 day and restart it. So you can stop a campaign for 24 hours and then resume it. Some of the tricks with Meta. So you do these kind of actions when you want to retest something with the audience that you know that works, and an offer that you know that works. So it can be the landing page, it can be the offer itself. So maybe the affiliate network, or the offer owner, or you are the offer owner and you change something in your offer uh, side. Then you have to reset the budgets and put the learnings on. So these you get the idea. So this you have to reset the budgets, and then you can ramp up the budgets again. So uh, I just noticed that we are up to the schedule time, and I don't want to waste most of your more from your time. So I have a question from Victor. Let me see here if I can. Mm, all right. So Victor has a question. Hey, Lucid. So, if we run rules for thousands of campaigns at the same time, would Facebook think it is fishy behavior to block my ad accounts? Not really. Like, I haven't seen that behavior at all. So the idea is that when we do the blocking, let me bring up this slide here. Sorry. When we do the blocking of the campaigns, it practically tells Facebook that we don't want to run this campaign anymore. And the thing that you want to keep present with Facebook is not to upload more than 200 or close to 250 ads per page, or because there is where it kind of triggers the spam the spam triggers for Facebook. So in this case, make sure that you are pausing the campaigns at the right time. Otherwise, you're gonna be wasting money if that's the case. So that's okay to launch campaigns, hundreds of campaigns a day. That's okay to launch hundreds of creatives per page. That's fine. Just don't reach those 250. And sometimes when you do start and stop the campaigns, or they part your campaigns externally from a tool like the optimizer, It's not that it will screw up Facebook. No, Facebook will learn that the campaign or the campaign that you're running, you want to have delivery from X start time to Y end time. So you practically these networks like Facebook or TikTok, but mostly Facebook, have grown to be so complex and so smart to some extent that they are actually giving you the ability to have to control your campaigns based off your needs. We have another question from Yevgeny. Any plans for media library API access? Now, this, honestly, I don't know the answer now, so I don't want to say anything. It's not that it's not going to be doable. We'll have to check with the team, and we'll make sure to get you guys an update about it. But if this is something that you would like to see, I would invite you to vote for to post it in our feature request section, so other users can upvote it, and we see if it is requested. So what we're doing on our end is that we're adding features based off users' requests. So if it's useful to the vast majority of users, then yes, our team is going to work and prioritize that functionality pretty soon. And something really important that is coming by the end of this month is the mass campaign launcher for Facebook. So what it will do is that you will have the ability to launch hundreds, if not thousands, of campaigns in one flow with Facebook. So it's a next step-by-step wizard or flow that will allow you to put campaigns, images, headlines, and videos. So we will support video formats as well, and it will create all sorts of combinations that you want. So in that flow, instead of dealing with the generally hated ads manager of Facebook, which is a great tool, by the way, but we know like it happens that it has issues when you're working on a daily basis with it. You will have an easier way, which will allow you not only to create campaigns, but will allow you to assign the automatic rules to it. So when you're doing the mass testing and when you're launching hundreds of campaigns or hundreds of campaigns a day, you will have those rules that will work for you, not you working or waking in the middle of the night with nightmares and say like, hey, what's happening with my campaign? So in that situation, we will have a much easier way to deal with it. So until next month, we won't have anything ready, because it's a complex tool. Like, it's not that we don't want, like, if it's for us, we would have wanted that for yesterday. But cool thing, it's in a good stage, and we will have it most likely by beginning of next month. So until then, I would invite you to play around with the other rules, and if you want to get on a one-on-one call together, look at your rules, or you would like to even brainstorm about potential rules, feel free to book a demo call on our website page, or drop in a message at lossit at theoptimizer.io or support at theoptimizer.io. We will set up a call. We can get into your current setup. Let's discuss your pain points. Let's discuss what you're looking to improve. Let's go over them in more detail, things that you want, you won't be happy to discuss in a public in an open conversation like this, and we can take it from there and make sure that you're utilizing automation at its best for your needs, not becoming a slave of the automation platform. So if you have any questions like that, I encourage you to set up a call together, either with me or one of my colleagues. We would be more than happy to walk you through or to brainstorm together about potential automatic rules that you can benefit from, and why not help you scale, which is something that we would love to see. Thanks again for joining today, and until next time, I wish you a great weekend and a great time. Thank you, guys.